All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome tonight to Global Impact. I'm David McQuell, hosting the show again tonight. Really another exciting edition. It's been really raining here down in tropical Africa, and the rain has been consistent, almost all day long. It's been raining and raining. We're really grateful to God for the great opportunity to enjoy the blessings of the rain. How are you doing and where you are? How is your weather doing? I would really love to hear from you. Especially those in the United States and Canada. I love to hear stories about snow. I love snow. I just can't have enough of snow. I hope that in heaven there is snow because I really love it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in today. How are you doing, your family, and all that concerns you? These are difficult times, global challenges, personal challenges, family challenges, all kinds of challenges, health challenges also. Yet in all these things, the Bible says we are more than conquerors through Christ who loved us. Our faith and our confidence is in the Lord. I hope you're doing well. I hope that you have your trust in God. That will really do you really good. So thank you. Welcome to the show tonight. And we'll take a break and come back and just kick off with the show.
This is Global Impact with David McQuell, your host. Isaiah chapter 2 verses 1 to 5 says that a time is coming when the church will rise in authority and influence and dominate the earth. And many nations will come and say, "Teach us the ways of the Lord." Global Impact is a show that inspires you as a Christian to rise up through the values of the kingdom of God and shine as light wherever you may be. We believe that missions is no longer limited to some isolated, unreached community in some dark continent. The church should reach out to all aspects of life, including politics, business, science and research, the media and diplomacy, and every aspect of human life. Join us on Global Impact, Monday through Friday, at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 6 p.m. GMT. Global Impact is broadcast on TECNTV.com. Join us.
Right, welcome back to the show. David McQuell here tonight. Again, we're talking about think and speak. The impact of thinking and speaking on life, either individually or collectively as a people, as a society, as a community, cannot be underestimated. Yesterday, we took a brisk look at this and touched on a lot of things, which probably I would like to a bit expatiate tonight, and then we will go on. Again, let me revisit the fact that God made man in his image. And the Bible tells us that God has a mind. He says, who will understand the Lord's mind? So God has a great mind. And because God has a mind, he knows how useful it is. He created us and gave us a mind. Our mind is the mental headquarters of our ability, mental capacity. We are able to think and reason from our mind, which is actually represented by the brain, human brain, where all the activities, thinking activities take place. God did not make us like robots so he can turn us around and twist us around and push us around. He gave us a mind where we can think and reason. We can collect ideas. We can collect experiences. We can collect information and, kind of process it and think about it. First of all, he created a beautiful garden and planted every tree, beautiful tree, and make it really wonderful. And then that was Adam's first home. He put Adam in the garden. And then the first thing he gave to Adam responsibility was that Adam was to name all creation. He was to give names to everything. And Adam had to reason and use his brain, his mind, and think about why and what, and look at those, all these creatures, the animals, the trees, the forests, the rivers, the reptiles in the sea, and the birds in the sky. He will look at them, look at their abilities, and look at their expressions, and look at their values and qualities, and then he will find names that were fitting to them. And it was incredible. I mean, the man didn't have a computer. He didn't have a notebook or a journal where he can write down, take pictures, or camera and take pictures and give names. But he had the mental capacity to give a name to an animal and not forget it. How did he even come up with the names? Well, he had a mind. God gave him a mind, and Adam had to use it. That is the first solution that Adam had to solve. He was given a world with lots of great, amazing creatures that didn't have names. How does he talk to them? How does he refer to them? God said, I'm not going to do it. I give you the responsibility. That's a big problem. He wanted to relate with all the animals. He wanted to talk with them. But when a frog and a toad are together, how does he differentiate who he's talking to? You know what I'm talking about. When a zebra and a horse and probably a donkey were together, how does he refer to one of them when he's talking to them? He had to give them names. And that was the first thing. And God gave him this problem and said, solve it. And Adam used his mind and brain to solve this. And incredibly, God will always come and spend time with Adam. And I'm sure that he will ask Adam, what's the name of this? And Adam will say, this is lion, or that's a lizard, that's a fish, tilapia, most probably. Oh, that bird is called swift or swallow. Adam did all this business of naming creatures. He gave names. That was really the first problem that he had to solve. And it was incredible. God came and he was really extremely proud of Adam. He was satisfied because Adam had used his mind to create and to solve a problem. Right? So God gave to man the ability to reason, the ability to think, and the ability to solve problems. Right? I'll be right back after this break, and we will look further at this subject, and then we'll really go back to the awakening, the great awakening in the colonies back in the 1800s. And it's really fascinating what man has been able to do for himself. God bless you. I'll be right back.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Ken McClinton, the host of the Exceptional Conservative Show, live for the nation's capital. I love this cat, the Exceptional Conservative Show cat, Jacob. We love you, and we want you to know we love the fact that you watch TECNTV.com. As chairman, founder, and president, we wish you much love and much affection. I love you.
All right, welcome back to the show. So incredibly, so we see in that place that God has blessed man with awesome ability, with incredible ability. In fact, the first thing that God said to man is, I bless you. The first thing he said, I bless you. He said, go and multiply, and dominate the earth and rule over it and subdue it. That's incredible. That's kind of use your you have the ability to multiply. You have the ability to dominate the earth. You have filled the earth and dominate it. You have the ability to subdue it. And how was Adam going to do this? He had to think through. He had to use his mind. He had to use his mind to explore the abilities. There were so much abilities buried in Adam, in his spirit, in his soul, and in his physical ability, in his physical being. So Adam was absolutely rich, in everything. I mean, when it comes to spirit, soul, and body. And so he had to solve these problems, and the first problem, of course, was to give names to everything. And so he could determine what was what and what will be used for what. That's truly incredible, isn't it? So, again today, we as human beings inherited that ability from Adam. We may not be called today to give names to all creation, but we are called today to use that incredible mental ability that God gave to Adam and solve our problems. Let me give you an example. If you live in Africa where you have mosquitoes and in the tropics, and mosquitoes can give you malaria, they can cause lots of things. So if you rent a house and there are lots of mosquitoes in that area, what do? Are you going to sit down and wait for the government to come and solve the problem? No. You're going to call your dad from the village to come and solve the problem? No, not at all. Are you going to call your pastor? No, not at all. You're going to sit down and look at the house and say, hey, how am I going to stop these mosquitoes? There are many ways of doing that, of course. Out there in the market, you can get insecticides. You can also get anti-mosquito repellents, in form of lotions and creams. And then you can also put in mosquito nets through the doors, through all the exits and entries of the house, like through the windows and the doors. We have some of them in our house. The bedroom windows are all netted to prevent mosquitoes from coming in. The entrance into the bedrooms has a trap door made of good frame, wooden frame and mosquito nets. And we didn't do that because the government told us to do it. We didn't do that because the pastor prophesied that we need to do it. We didn't do that because one special intelligent university professor proposed it. We thought about it. And then also there are mosquito nets. I don't like sleeping under a mosquito net. I feel like I'm restricted. And many people like that. My daughter in the house feel the same way. And so I think my wife is comfortable with the mosquito net. But to avoid, to just avoid that, what we did is that we fixed nets all through the exit and entrance into the bedrooms. So we don't have mosquitoes coming into the bedrooms, and we are free. And because it's really hot, so we have to open most of the windows at night so that fresh air will blow in and we can enjoy a nice, good sleep. So that's problem solving. We took our time to solve the problems. For some people, just a good standing fan can actually drive away the mosquitoes, and so many ways in which people solve the issues, and that's within our human ability. It's within our human ability. The incredible thing about man that separates him from other animals and species of mammals is that, for example, a donkey may not be able to cook for itself. But when man is hungry, he can sit down and actually pick what he wants to do and prepare it and either cook it, roast it, or fry it, whatever it is. In one way or the other, we can choose what we want to eat, we can prepare it, and in doing that, we solve the hunger problem. We solve the problem of our tummies. And you don't have to wait for someone to come and do that for you. It's only children that wait for parents to do that. But when you come of age, one of the incredible blessings is that you are able to solve your hunger issue yourself. Now, when you are a young person living with your parents, they still provide for you. But when you grow and become an adult, what happens? You go out of your way and actually work hard and earn a living, earn money, earn whatever it is, and you are able to get the kind of food that you want to eat. Not only that, you are able to get the clothes that you wear. Not only that, you are able to get the kind of house that you want. You can rent the kind of house that you want based on how much you earn. Now, that's really incredible. That is man solving his problem. In ancient Africa, people migrated and they went to the bush, cut down the trees, and then used the trees and the leaves to make a shelter for themselves where they can sleep in at night. But with the abundance of wildlife and dangerous animals, people began to build mud houses. They used mud, and kind of build some houses to provide some shelter and security for themselves. Well, again, that also cannot deter some very, very wild animals. So people began to make bricks out of mud, and they began to build houses for themselves, which is more preventive, from the wild beasts and wild animals. So absolutely incredible. Man has grown with time to learn how to solve his own accommodation or shelter problem. Man has been able to solve the basics of it, and with time, man has improved into building beyond the mud bricks to mortar and lime and all kinds of slime, and all kinds of things that man is today. There are glass houses, there are wooden houses, there are concrete houses, there are stone houses, depending on what your choice and your preference is. People build houses and build a kind of houses with extraordinary designs. In those days at the beginning, getting a shelter was more about protection from wild animals. But today, it's far more than that. It's right up to giving comfort and pleasure. And people build houses today to give not just protection from wild animals, but other assaults, but also to provide security, to provide comfort, and to provide pleasure. And it's incredible. Man is solving his problems. Man is solving his problems today. In many parts of the world, you are free to go and buy land and build the kind of house you want to and live in the kind of house that you want. That's amazing. Can you imagine if we just sit down and we're waiting for God to build houses for us? No. God has given us the ability. He said the earth is before you. He says subdue it. He said dominate it. He said take advantage of all the blessings that I have put on the earth for you. And that's truly incredible. That's how man began to solve his personal problems. Man began to sort out the kind of food he wants to eat. Man began to sort out the kind of communities he wanted. In those days, in the past, people lived on trees, people lived on mountains, and people even lived by the riverside, and all kinds of accommodations and all kinds of in caves and forests. People began to develop for themselves the choice of where they want to live. And so it's incredible. And and that basic ability to solve your problem is a gift from God. It's a gift from God. Not only are we able to solve simple problems like accommodation and feeding, but we are also we've even risen up to a point where we begin to solve our health needs, our mental needs. Man began to develop medicine. First of all, preventive hygiene, and then medicine to cure illnesses. And again, man has improved through the times. Man has improved. Today, lots of things are done with prevention in mind, kinds of food that people eat are to prevent. For example, you get to a certain age and you decide to change your diet because it's not good for you at that time. As the body begins to wear out, in reality, that's the reality of life, you begin to change the kind of food that you eat to fit into the body so you can last longer, And all these are man trying to solve his own needs. Man trying to make things better for himself. And in doing that, we have come to a lot of things, Man began to develop the fan when it was hot. First of all, it was a hand fan. So you can fan yourself when it's very hot and steamy. The man developed the electric fan, which is electrically driven. And then, you can kind of sit down and you don't have to fan yourself anymore. You just put the fan there and it does the job. It's incredible. Man has improved on so many ways. Cooking food in those days used to be really hard. People have to work hard and to get fire out of the ground, out of the earth, and then store it. And then in past, in fact, the main ways of cooking food was roasting. And the man began to develop by steaming, by vaporizing, by grilling, and by frying, and all kinds of things. Man understood through the ages that, he can improve his lot. He can make life better for himself. And that's a gift of God. God gave us that gift to solve our personal needs. Exactly the same way as people began to raise families. Everybody in every family, every parent, every mother began to develop with time. And in human interaction and social interactions, people began to develop great processes and styles and ideas about bringing up children, feeding the children, clothing the children, educating the children, training the children. All these things man evolved through time, man developed, because inside within us were those abilities. And we have to use those abilities because they are given to us by God. They are given to us by God. And so we take the time to develop them. For example, man began to learn how to keep records in the past. They will put in stones to remind them, for example, of things and places. You remember in scripture where Jacob had the encounter with the Lord. What did he do? He raised up a pillar of stone and anointed it with oil and called the place Bethel. They were landmarks. And people put landmarks. I went back years back. I think it was 1987. Back in my village, my ancestral village, my family, and all the community of my relatives, long chain of relatives. The elders who were then alive decided that they wanted to show us our ancestral home, where our forefathers in the 17th and 18th century lived. So they took us high up to the mountain and showed us rock, actually solid rock high up there. And they showed us where they lived as communities in the past. People lived in rocks, on top of mountains, because for security reasons, so that if there is an attacker coming, you can know when they are coming. And at the same time also, hauling down large stones was one way to, waves of attacks, and so they took us up there and we went and looked at them, landmarks. We saw amazing, incredible poetry. We saw conference halls. We saw all sorts of things, It's incredible the process and the time through which man has evolved and grown. And it is incredible, and this is really great. One of the biggest blessings, like I said, that God has given to man is the ability to solve our problems and to find solution to our needs. It is God-given, and God expects that we use our mind and our intelligence that he gave to Adam to explore and find solutions to our problems, explore and find solutions to our situations, explore and find solutions to things that hurt us. We actually don't have to endure and bear up with things that are uncomfortable. We have to explore ways of solving problems individually in your life. You have to explore, you have to find ways in which you can solve problems. A man who has a problem with hunger goes to the farm and plants his crops and expect that the time is coming when he will harvest great harvest and have abundance for himself and for his household. And that's a great way of solving problem. And if you realize that, I was listening to a documentary many years ago of the death, the infamous historical Black Death that was, I think years back in the United States, that was killing, nursing mothers. So they realized that nursing mothers were giving birth and then they will die, or many of them were dying off, and they kept working at it. And someone suggested the first time that it was the problem of simply lack of washing the hands by the doctors. But they just, kind of pushed it away. 30 years later, after a thorough investigation was carried out, they realized that was exactly what was the problem. The problem was that the doctors were not washing their hands before and after surgery. So when they have their surgery, they go with infected hands and infect the mother who was giving birth, and then the mother will eventually die. It's incredible. Washing of hands solved a lot of problems. Simply washing your hands with clean water. And we see today in practice, in medical practice, that all surgeries, all surgeons, they go and scrub first before going in for surgery. And after the surgery, what happens? Even with the gloves, they scrub before going out. That's incredible. solving problems, But we have to think. And when we think, and whatever thought comes to our mind, we have to speak out. I'll be right back. Be right back right now after this break. And I tell you, we really having some good times here. I love it.
Everything that's reported on television isn't always true, but it should be. NTD, the power of truth. Now available 24/7 on television and streaming platforms.
What happened to the church? To the living, powerful, transformative, nation-shaking Christianity?
What they're trying to do is completely demolish Western civilization and then to rebuild it in a just society.
How do you break down American Christianity?
I think the problem today in our culture is many of our words have been co-opted and stolen and dumbed down and reversed.
Social justice is sold as something that it isn't. Critical race theory is sold as something that it isn't.
Whiteness has caused blindness of heart. Whiteness has caused blindness of heart.
When you preach victimization, it always leads to vengeance and vice. Us against them, me against you. I want my pound of flesh.
American churches today are where the universities were 10 years ago. Pretty heavily Marxist. They're not quite there yet, but they're well on the way. Many of the seminaries and Bible colleges are definitely already there.
That message that they're going out and taking the world is not, you need to repent of your sin, receive Christ. Instead, the message that you actually have is they are under the weight of racism or sexism or homophobia, and then we need to unify them together.
I'm gay, I'm 29, I'm a youth pastor in New Jersey.
I'm straight, and I'm also a youth pastor in New Jersey.
We're planning on sharing life together for the rest of our lives, which we're not totally sure what that looks like. Obviously, Nick is straight, and he does plan on getting married. When he has a wife one day, she'll make those decisions with us.
The future damage of what we're doing now is just going to be enormous.
The entire fabric of family, personal wealth, private property, all those things are out the door. And everything is the state. They believe the state is God.
They don't define justice the same way as the scripture.
Oh no, it's going to be an equality, all right. And it's going to be a totalitarian Marxist justice.
Hey, this is Pastor Greg right here watching TECNTV.com live and enjoying. You should join me here on ChildrenGenerationRadio.com. And also my other favorite thing, ministering the gospel in India.
Hi, I'm Bob Rick.
Welcome back to the show. David McQuell. This is Global Impact. You're watching on TECNTV.com. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for always tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. One of the things that we really enjoy on this show is hearing from you. I would really love to hear what you think about the issues that we bring up to the table, the content that we present, and the matters arising, and questions in your mind, your disagreements or your appreciation. We really love to hear from you. When we hear from you, we really feel good, even if what you say is against what we do, because that's what makes us better. So we would like to hear from you, please. Would you take your time and drop us a few lines on email, gympact2018@gmail.com. You can see it on the screen of your device, with a TV or mobile phone, tablet or computer. You can see our email down there, gympact2018@gmail.com. We are also happy to announce to you that our website at World Mission Center is out. Our new website is out, www.missionsafrica.com. Africa this time around with K-A at the end, not C-A. So missions, I-S-S-I-O-N-S, Africa, A-F-R-I-K-A. So .com. So missionsafrica.com. If you go there, you will really enjoy what we do. You will get to know exactly what we do. And so Global Impact is actually a production of World Mission Center. And so we'd really love you to visit the website and leave us a comment. We would, especially in the blog, you can leave us a comment. There are places to leave comments there, and we will love it. There is also an email there, admin@missionsafrica.com. We really love to hear what you think. God bless you, and God bless you. Really, God bless you. Thank you so much for always tuning in. All right, so thank you so very much. Today I'll do a little reading. I'm talking about the Great Awakening. Talking about how man has been able to use, or how man should be able to use his thinking capacity to find ideas, to find solution to problems. That's how we can make the world a better place. That's how you can actually make your life better. By sitting down quietly and thinking, meditating and examining things and facts and events and situations, and by examining them, your thoughts will come into your mind, ideas will come into your mind that will provide solution to many problems. As I just gave an example of how man evolved through solving the issue of shelter and feeding and health for their bodies. It is the practical way in which everything on earth has come to be. When people sit down and use their mind, to think, their brains to think and find solutions to issues. One of the bold and biggest period in human history that this was really practically evident in our own modern world was the period of the Great Awakening. When the American colonies, in the 1730s and 1740s, the community, the society was basically agrarian. The Americans, immigrants from Europe, especially from the United Kingdom, had gone over to the Americas and tried to find a good start life where there would be no religious persecution, and the hindrances to personal liberty, especially, and also to escape from over-taxation. And they came first. Most of the, all of them came as religious colonies. The Quakers came, the Anglicans came, the Methodists came, of course later the Lutherans came, and all joined. And all this, oh my gosh,